There
I
was
was
a-
excited. I checked it. Charles Barnes, I'm all the gravel you want.
Yeah, and I was like, is where you were, I said, yeah, I got it. You're shaping them. Oh, what do you like? I said, "Oh." He asked me, I don't know, I really woke up. It was pretty slick. You go, ask them. That's what they do.
Well,
They don't.
All guys, if they walk. Fresh on the.
He's a young guy.
Yeah.
So Patty's not. The guy you said. It runs. Really roll. Just did, now I'm like, oh, sit down. So I said, you started checking the doors, or try to open that. Well, this guy, and I kept saying, no, and Frank, I never get into all the reasons why it's not essential. So I just, I finally, hey, next time. It's 5:35, like, call me in order, and I'm trying to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, nothing for proclamations, we're moving on to the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is presented.
Second.
Been moved and second to approve consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? No, Don? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to public comments, I'd like to first start with Mr. Ryan Smith. If you'd like to come up here, sir. It's too bad Brad's not here to talk about you, because I'm sure most people don't want to hear me talk about way back when you were a paraprofessional for me at Horton Elementary. Which you did a fabulous job there, but, you also continue to do a great job with the city. We're lucky that you switched over from the education route to this route. I'd like to also give you the senior, experience or years of service.
Thank you, Ryan.
If anybody else wants to help me out, say something nice about him. Brian, you do a fantastic job.
He's a good guy.
We're not gonna talk about softball and golf, we're not going there. Where you say,
I like the fact that whenever I see these guys working in a hole, I stop sometimes and Ryan's always the first one to come over and explain what they're doing and how they're doing it. All the other guys are right there, just like clockwork. They all know what to do, and I'm always impressed watching our city crews work, so. Thank you, Ryan. Keep that up. Yes.
okay, and also just a reminder, when we have public comment, that we are limited to 3 minutes, when you're up there, so, I believe Gavin White would like to come up to the microphone, please.
Hello, my name is Gavin White. I live at 215 Kickapoo Street. Prohaska used to live in that house. I'm now the homeowner of it. Recently, you guys have helped me financially with putting in a new driveway. Rosenberger put it in. They put in a lazy curb that can withstand about 2 inches. You know, if the ground's still wet, the water doesn't seep into the ground enough. And now I still cannot put anything in my basement. And so I'm up here to ask again, can we figure out something different from the water going past Kickapoo Street into Third, and then it goes down into my basement? It doesn't go past the driveway. That lazy curb is wonderful for 2 inches of rain. But I think we need to maybe look at some drains on Kickapoo Street on the south side. Further than that, I'm good here. Thank you.
Give her.
There is, I guess, evidence or videos, photos. Chef has it. Thanks.
So at 215 Kickapoo, you said that we helped with the driveway. Was that to help with drainage? Is
Correct.
that what?
Well,
what it was?
it wasn't really drainage, it was more divert. That lazy curve just helps it go further down into the ditch.
Okay.
Which there's a drain in the ditch. It does help, but, I think we need more drainage before it gets to my drive because it just overflows sadly into my, I wish I had photos up here today to show you. Shepherd, I thought was gonna be here. Sorry about that.
He is, he's right behind.
I don't know if he can send you guys photos, give you better visual, show you the videos, show you photos of what's going on. Rosenberger helped, but, it's not, I can't put anything in my basement. I can't,
So the water that they attempted to divert has not been diverted. Is that the simplest term?
yes, not.
I can kind of explain a little bit more if it's, the city ran the curb in the beginning and they cut the curb short about 4 foot before his driveway. And so when the water comes down that road, it was basically all funneling right down into his driveway. So we did extend the curb down 4 or 5 more foot, and then they put a lazy curb in it. It's kind of just a bump in between the driveway and the street. But what it really probably needs is some grates in the street to just kind of help absorb some of that water. And I don't know if we can run the grates into the street or put a box drain or something in there. I don't know. We just need to look at it and see if we can make it a little bit better because he does have, it's happened a couple times. It's not necessarily, this isn't a once in 10 years deal. This is a once, 2, 3 times a year deal. So that's the problem. I mean, we have big rains, but you can't allow this to happen multiple times a year. So we can probably put some grates or something in the road. I think we can come up with something, get the guys over there and come up with a plan. We've already put some drainage tile in on the other side of the road, and maybe we can put some bigger drainage tile in on the other side of the road now, and that might help as well.
Thanks, Brian.
You want the corner, third and Kickapoo?
Yeah, it'd be at the corner right there on
South side.
the south side, southeast side.
And Gavin, have you came in to talk to Brad by any chance?
Brad has actually met me at my driveway before. We've exchanged phone numbers. I've seen photos and stuff like that. But, no, I have not ever.
When was that?
Probably when I got my house 4 months ago. 5 months ago.
That
So
was
does your
before-
garage, like,
So yeah, it was used before as a garage and then, I don't use it as a garage now. Barricaded basically to help prevent floods of happening. And, it was a garage before. It's sadly underneath the street level, so it doesn't help me at all. So I'm just hoping to stop the flooding for now.
So when Brad met you, it was before your previous, correction? The previous?
Yes, it would have been before Rosenberger put in the lazy curve.
Okay,
Okay, thank you for clearing.
yeah, but because, we'd really like for you to contact City Hall so we can start the process of having a paper trail of how we correct these actions.
Okay.
Create corrective action plans, if that would be okay. So if you could drop off pictures or email them to me, then I could distribute them to the rest of the commission.
Thank you, Gavin.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
on to old business. Chief, would you like to come up here for the e-bike discussion? By the way, thank you and Andy for all that information that you sent out. That took a bit to get through.
Yeah, Mr. Glenny's done a great job of putting us in the form of the ordinance as well as the documentation, the way it needs to be read. And all the research that the folks did, to be able to provide this material to you. It was very great group effort.
So we put a lot of information in your hands a few weeks ago. You know, I don't think there's any recommendations from the chief or I as far as restricting what the state law already has in place. The commission asked us to come back with an ordinance that would expand the streets on which you could drive these utility vehicles and golf carts. So there's an ordinance in your hand. We went ahead and restated the ordinance, so now it matches up with itself better. Be easier for the officers to follow as far as subsections 1, 2, and 3. That's why it's kind of a restatement of that. So basically, the state, well, you cannot drive one of these vehicles on any state highway, which is our first street. And then by state law, you can't drive them on any street where the speed limit exceeds 30 miles an hour. And in the city of Hiawatha, that's basically Oregon Street west of 13th. Actually, industrial, I think, is where it came. So if someone wanted to drive a golf cart to Walmart, they would not be able to take Oregon Street all the way, but they would have to divert over to Iowa Street and make the rest of it. There's still a way to get there. Factors letting you in anywhere in town. And the second recommendation we're making. So right now, generally, if you have anything that is not human powered, except wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs, and the assistive devices, segways, hoverboards, they're not allowed on sidewalks anyway in town. We've kind of caught a catch-all provision, so as you can see from the number of definitions that are in the state law. Sometimes technology is just ahead of the law, and there are some vehicles that travel, frankly, way too fast to be on sidewalks, especially in the downtown area of businesses. So we would ask you to consider that second ordinance. And the definition is the definition of a vehicle under state statute and our standard traffic offenses. And if we accept electric wheelchairs, obviously, but that would limit to whatever drives on sidewalks to something that goes 50 miles an hour or less.
So bicycle, just a regular bicycle.
Human powered bicycle, yes.
Okay,
If it's
so-
driven, if it's not human powered. Now, there are a couple of ordinances we have about skateboards prohibited on sidewalks, mostly in the down. It's all within a radius of the courthouse down here. We already have a statute.
So I said there really weren't that many changes. You just needed it up and we're following what the state has in place. correct?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not really interested in adding anything else or making anything stricter.
So we have had a citizen kind of, chief, more expanded, kind of restricted thing that it's gonna be awfully, and we can do anything we want to as far as safety, but it's gonna be awfully difficult for our officers to enforce to say that person is 15 versus that person is 16, things of that nature. We're not necessarily making those.
Is a walking trail considered a sidewalk or sidewalk area?
I would consider it a sidewalk or sidewalk area.
No, that's a good point. We don't do electric bikes on that.
Well,
I-
the electric bike, they can get up to 28 miles an hour. I think they would come around some of those curves and just surprise people, so.
So these two ordinances are just addressing the micro utility trucks and the worksite utility vehicles and the golf carts.
Yeah, so under the current ordinance, they're limited on the streets they can travel.
So it's just a change.
It's just kind of expanding where, when this ordinance was first passed, they weren't quite the thing they are now, not everybody.
I mean, a lot of people have them now, a lot of people use them as general transportation around town. But right now, for example, these worksite utility vehicles can only go directly from your house to the job site and back. More people are using them for general transportation, so this new ordinance will allow people to use them as such.
But where do the Polaris razors?
Well, so one, I kind of, that email I sent using brand names was kind of just as an example.
Okay.
So, there are some vehicles that are strictly off-road, and I don't want to say it's a brand name kind of thing, because you say razors, I saw one in town today that was completely street and
Right.
able to be operated. So it's kind of the way the vehicle is equipped, which is going to allow it to be classified to have a city tag or not.
So basically, those vehicles that are definitely not, I mean, you can look at them, but they're not utility vehicles. They can be used off-road, but if they have a trunk, if they have a,
No, the chief has guidelines the highway patrol set out, so there's statewide guidelines, so.
Yeah, there's a whole series of equipment that they have to have on the vehicle, you know, headlights, brake lights have to have. Like a windshield, as an
Sure.
example, and some other things that are required for any type of vehicle on the roadway. So we thought the best way to do this is to create a checklist. And that way, when we have to do the inspections, I can have one of the two people, one of my non-sworn folks, go right down that checklist, and if they have the stuff on the checklist, then we're golden. The reason behind is, if the city permits a vehicle which doesn't meet the requirements of the state to be on the roadway, and somebody gets into a collision, and they would have a cause of action against the city because we permitted something which is a violation of state law and not properly equipped. I think that's lose for us. I think we need to protect the city, but at the same token, you know, if people have a properly equipped vehicle, irrespective of the magic name of it or whatever, and we can get down that checklist and we have everything on there. I think we can get a permit and be appropriate. Off-road recreational vehicles, those ones that go 70 to 90 miles an hour, probably not. Because they're prohibited by state law, period.
Right, unless they have,
that's what I'm trying
unless they have,
to.
unless they have the equipment, so.
Because there's several of those
Yeah,
registered in Hiawatha.
And yeah, and that they could be completely appropriate
Okay.
to be registered, and we're not saying they shouldn't, I'm just. There's
So-
no,
I just want to add, we already have it in place. I believe that you have to have a rear view mirror and side mirrors, I think. And
one.
yes, at least one, headlights and taillights. And so that basically covers pretty much all UTVs.
Yeah. So we're talking about are vehicles that shouldn't be on the roads because they are for racing dirt tracks, that's what we're talking. So just like a dirt bike compared to a motorcycle.
I just wanted to clear that up in my mind tonight.
Yeah, and the big thing is the equipment. If it is properly equipped, and it should be a no-brainer. If it's not properly equipped, then perhaps person can bring it into compliance, and that would be a fine. But if they don't, I don't think anyone wants a vehicle which is not built for roadways, to be on roadways, and they're specifically built, as Andy said, for off-road track races. It's just, even the suspension is so bouncy, you try to stop that thing, you end up bouncing down the road a little bit, so there's some issues. And so obviously,
And so his checklist would then be available if someone trying to go purchase something to make sure that they're buying something that would comply with the state. Or help them do.
I just want to make sure that the vehicles that are already registered that are,
Well,
not necessarily,
and we're not changing the rules that exist as far as those go.
Okay,
So
just
the
wanted to be clear.
vehicles that are registered have already been inspected.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I have to admit, those e-bikes still make me nervous, not that I'm saying that we need to change anything, I just wish parents would help educate their kids, because once again, my daughter saw an e-bike zoom around in front of the car, never even saw a car.
Well,
And that's just being a 14-year-old kid who doesn't think too much, but
and I think whether or not you approve the ordinances that are in the packet tonight, what we're gonna do now that we have this kind of straightened out, because you're right, it takes a while to get through the complexity of that. We can start informing the public. So everybody kind of knows what the rules are, and then obviously if we have people that choose to violate the ordinances after being made aware that they exist, we can.
I did do some research today and the state does have quite a bit of rules per se on all electric vehicles, and I could not find any other town that Colby had a very vague ordinance for e-bikes, and it was basically just limiting them in some parks and stuff like that they were having a problem with. But Kansas City does have some ordinances that are a little bit more, but again, they're just limiting them in certain locations, high traffic areas and stuff like that. So I think we're on the right track of Kansas in general to go above and beyond. At this point, we would really be a leading the pack of what everybody else is doing.
Well, we just need to make sure that kids know they can't have those e-bikes on the sidewalks too.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I said,
I see that quite a
we'll
bit.
start with information and then, I'm sure the chief will have his officers warn people before they start issuing those kind of, all we want is compliance, so.
Does this open it up for traffic on Oregon Street?
For the golf carts and,
Yeah.
yes, those authorized vehicles then would be allowed to travel on Oregon, but not past
Right, not
An
past.
industrial.
13th Or where, yeah.
wherever that
Speed
changes
limit
to 25.
So the e-bikes that are, the electric bikes that are capable of traveling 30 miles an hour, you have to be 17, am I right?
Okay, if they're 30 miles an hour, they're probably motorized bicycles, more akin to a motorcycle than a bike, so. Yeah, the ones that go 28 miles an hour is the maximum speed for something to be considered an electric assisted bikes.
Yeah, that's a class 3 bike.
And I believe it's 16 is the age. Okay. Now, when you get faster than that, but not an e-bike by definition, there's something else. Either a motorized bicycle or a motorcycle.
So can you tell, I mean, I know you put some pictures in it, but is an officer gonna be able to see one going down, you know, it's a 1, 2, or 3, or do you need to like stop them, look at it? I mean, is there a definite difference?
I would gather that the officers are gonna become aware of the differences as they start looking at enforcement of this, but no. There should be a label on any recently sold bike in a conspicuous location. And we'll put that information out to the public, so anybody that owns one of these can look at the label.
A class 1 e-bike is pedal assisted. A class 2 is a throttle, not a pedal. So it actually has a throttle. You open it up with your wrist. And class 3, they have to be marked with class 3 unequivocal, because those are the ones that really move.
And then mini bikes are just like motorcycles, so that.
Okay,
That's the whole other story.
yeah, so,
Well,
I mean,
because I read it in there.
there's a thing like those, everybody's aware of those. They're sold as street legal 49cc, they're not street legal. It's little pocket bikes that kids ride around in their yard, can't have them on the street. But yes, there would be like a moped or a motorized bicycles, something that's less than that doesn't require the class M motorcycle endorsement.
In those pocket motorcycles, the reason they're prohibited, period, is because they don't meet the federal emission standards, period. That's why we can't do anything with those within the state. So. So,
Didn't take you guys long at all, to put that all together. Well, I'd like to start with making a motion, to have an ordinance amending ordinances. Start again. To
This is-
approve,
Sorry to stop,
Oh,
this would be ordinance 2140.
yeah, I was about to, yeah. Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2148, which amends the ordinances 1050 and 2016 of the Hiawatha Municipal Code, governing the operation of worksite utility vehicles or micro utility trucks and golf carts within the corporate limits of said city.
Second.
I'll second.
It's been seconded twice. Is there any public comment? Any further comment from commissioners? No.
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. I'd also like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2149, which establishes Hiawatha Municipal Ordinance number 11-215, prohibiting the operation of vehicles on sidewalks within the city of Hiawatha, Kansas.
Second.
Been moved in, or any public comment? Any, further comment from commissioners? No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Once again, Andy and Chief, thank you very much for all that work.
Yes, thank you.
Andy, could you maybe just clarify the rules for the sunset and sunrise first? The
Right, so
UTVs?
there may have been posed by a police department a few years ago or last year or something like that about. So worksite utility trucks and worksite utility vehicles and micro trucks can operate after dark if they're properly equipped with headlights. That has been the rule, that's the state law, so we kept it here. Golf carts cannot operate after sunset, between sunset and sunrise, even if they are. Even if they do have headlights, because typically they don't have seatbelts or doors, so.
So we will get the website updated with that.
Yeah, we'll have to publish it in the paper before it becomes law, and then
Yeah.
Don will put it on the website. And then probably through the police department, we'll start issuing some posts with the rules, so people can become aware of those.
If I get it in there tonight, it'll be in this Thursday's paper.
I think the ages are gonna be really important to make sure those are out there so parents know. Because, I mean, I know there are kids out there on the roads that probably aren't legally supposed to, and so now, once the information's out there, they. Anything else, commissioners? Okay, moving on to new business, item 2, the revised 2026 pay scale. Chief, did you want to add anything else to that? I mean, I'm assuming the commissioners have looked at what we can hear.
Yeah, it's just, we've been proceeding forward and we didn't have that on the.
Sorry. Otherwise, Don yells at us.
Yeah, we have somebody who's a sergeant, we don't have pay scale, it says sergeant, so we were missing something and, that was worked up by the folks downstairs and, asking that that be adopted because it exists.
All right, and there's no difference, it's just adding that.
Right. That's my understanding is.
So a question that I have is that you mentioned that he's already being paid as an officer 3.
That's what I understand, is that correct, Dawn?
That he's being paid under the officer 3 position, under the current pay scale, so I was just curious, what good?
But he has the title of sergeant.
Right, but
It'll fall still within the appropriate range on the sergeant and the range where he is right now is exactly where we'll remain within that same range. As far as the numbers, we're not promoting saying, hey, by the way, he needs more money. He gets what he gets, but it's within the sergeant line as opposed to the PO3 line.
how many officer 3s are there?
Not anymore, the last one was Jen.
So that's a time and service type thing to make officer 3? I guess
That's up to the chief where he promotes.
Huh?
That's up to the chief where they promote.
If I remember right, the officer 3 or PO3 was because they were also responsible for a code as well. And that's why we had that position and I don't know about the history, but Janet was the last one that had that position.
I just wanted to get it straight in my mind, that he's taking on additional responsibilities as the sergeant.
Oh,
He should, yeah.
Absolutely, he's learned what a sergeant is.
Yeah.
So, I do have a copy of the police officer 3 position, job description.
Yeah, I saw the steps, I saw the.
So no, the job description, because I did add this to the sergeant one. So if you want a copy of that, you can compare to see what his extra would be.
I just want to make sure he's making more money than a regular officer 3 would be making.
Yes,
That's what I need to know. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, okay.
I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the revised 2026 pay scale. City of Hiawatha adding a police sergeant position.
Second,
Been moving a second to approve the 2026 pay scale revision. Is there any comments from the public? Questions from the commissioners? Done.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to item 3, just some housekeeping, the revenue neutral rate publication. Since we have determined as a city that we are going to stay revenue neutral, we have to make sure that we give the notice to the county clerk of our intention to remain at the revenue neutral rate. Does not mean that we have finalized our budget by any means, but we know where we're at and what we can work with. So I would entertain a motion just so we can keep moving ahead of the process.
I'll make a motion to approve the notice to the county clerk of the city's intention to remain at the revenue neutral rate of 34.472 mils for the 2027 budget.
Second.
And moving in second to approve the notices county clerk to remain revenue neutral. Any comments from the public? Comments from commissioners? No, no.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to item number 4, 6th Street drainage. Okay.
That's some of those.
Here's the county clerk.
You.
Thank you.
So I was asked to get some numbers on putting in a storm sewer at Sixth and Cherry. It's not a great area. But it's on a lot of water. So on the first, the big piece of paper is just a topography map from the conservation office. The yellow dot is the driveway in question, then there's kind of a bold blue line goes around from the center of it. 16 acres, 5.5 blocks, flow runs through there. Its only downfall is it's all downhill real fast. So, in building it, when we get these heavy rains and water's curb to curb, it is hard to corral into that water. So on this one map, if all my little rectangles are inlet boxes. Purple line is where the storm sewer goes. There is an 8-inch water line in there that if you were to go forward with this project has to be moved. Yellow line next to it is gas line. May or may not have to be moved. And the large pink one is waterway that runs in the pasture behind it. That needs some addressing. It's been silted in through the years.
Is that the one that goes behind, Homestead and all that back
Yeah.
there?
It kind of forms a Y, comes past the elementary school, starts there in Kansas, and one leg of it, then this leg tees into it back behind, in the middle of all that. Then this one that we have here is just pipe signs that we use through the conservation recommendations. Most of the time we use Rolling Country, is the one circled at the very top. In building it, I decided to use the Mapless Country just for the water flow and the velocity that comes down the hill. So in doing so, on this one piece of paper, there's numbers, a lot of them. Without doing waterway rehab, you're $96,000 for parts for the storm sewer.
And so that's without the waterway rehab. And what would that take?
Waterway?
Yeah.
Varies. I talked to Got a couple of contractors meeting down there. Just a simple dig, clean it out, nothing fancy. 25, if you want it like a Fourth Street, the ditch that goes to the highway there behind Crestview. You're looking towards $60,000.
Friday, I was out and about driving around about 12:30-ish. I made it a note for me to drive by there to look and see what was going on. It was pouring.
Yes, it was.
And that water, I showed the video to Brad, that water was just blasting right over that grade and going right down that driveway.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's
we get
just-
3 inches of rain in less than an hour. I mean, that's something that luckily we don't get a lot of.
Do
When
that,
that
block-
happens, we're just kind of,
do that blocking on conservation measured it, there's like 15 feet of fall on that one block. So, I mean, you're pushing water 2.5%. It's good. Just corralling and it's,
But something needs to be done.
so that's why we're here to discuss and see,
So how many acres rolls to that one particular area?
16.
16 acres.
This is full-blown storm sewer, break it down, we can try other things.
You said we'd have to replace the pipe from the grate that's there now alongside that garage until we get over to the waterway, we have to replace that pipe.
All of it.
It's not big enough. You said it was 8 inch?
That's the 8-inch water line that runs down Sixth Street.
Oh, that's the one.
Putting
That's
in the
the,
pipe underneath the driveway, we upsized to a 48-inch pipe,
28?
Yep.
What is it now?
24. Then it'd be a 42 underneath Sixth Street to Cherokee Corner. Just for, we put larger open face boxes like you see on the highway. To try to capture it and a series of small ones around it to try to travel. Water's moving downhill. It's about it.
I will appreciate all the information you put together.
Yeah, no problem.
I'd like to make a motion to table this until the city administrator returns and we can visit with him about our budgetary concerns. That's my
I-
motion.
I'd just like to add, I mean, that's a pretty big bill for one driveway. I think that, I mean, it happens quite a bit, but we should, I talked to Nick a little bit today about maybe we can come up with a plan B to kind of control this a little bit more instead of redoing the whole intersection. I mean, I agree about tabling it, but I just don't want it to be, I don't want it to be dropped altogether. Nick had a couple of ideas that might help this issue. So I think we still can do something. Maybe putting a bigger pipe going out into the field along the side without all the box drains. There's other ideas that we can come up with. I mean, Nick, is this kind of like the doomsday prophecy fix, or do you feel like we can come up with a lesser of the evil fix for this?
I mean, this is worst case scenario. I mean, it's
Right.
your best chance of capturing it all. I mean, rains like Friday, you can't
It's
capture
not
it.
gonna catch it. It's not gonna happen.
But I know there's a single pipe. I know the box is wide enough. I was talking about whether we could cut in another pipe and try and redesign the inlet, but I mean, when water's hailing down the hill, I can't guarantee it's all gonna go in there.
and we have to be careful that we're not trying to piecemeal it, so that by the time it's all said and done, we end up spending more money than what we originally. So I'd like to second the motion, the whole.
Yes, I'll make that motion again. I do wanna table it, but this is not putting it off, Brian. It's tabling it until we can get Brad back here. We can kind of look at our money, give Nick a little more time to potentially come up with.
No,
we definitely need to fix this. Or
Yeah, But you're looking
address
at
it.
over $100,000, I don't wanna make that decision tonight.
So it's moved and seconded. Is there any public comment?
Obviously me.
No.
One of the concerns I know it had, and maybe that comes in with some of that creek, getting that cleaned up and stuff, but as we were able to get that water down and flowing not into my driveway, the last meeting, one of the things I had brought up was I drove around town that night, and that was not a torrential downpour within an hour. I know Friday I wasn't home, I was over in Falls City, so I didn't really get to see what that was like. But even just long periods of rain where the ground gets saturated and there is just over time a lot of water that, things like speeding that drainage up isn't gonna cause more problems down the road for Crestview, because that was one of the places I drove to. And there was that one gal's house on the corner, I mean, that water was almost up to her foundation, so. While I want that fixed, obviously, but is there more issues going down the line through the rest of that drainage, or are we just gonna cause more problems by fixing my problem?
Water, the faster you speed it up, yeah, it's gonna cause problems further downstream. Something we'll have to look at.
Cause that was, it had came complete, I mean, it was running over the road that day, I got pictures of that too, if you guys want. to
I
see.
got pictures of that as well. I drove down through that way.
But of course, I really want my problem solved, but I also don't want.
Well, I
You don't wanna
appreciate,
go
I
over tossing
appreciate
the tail now, because that was something I've been thinking of since I came up and complaining to you guys about that, but. Then the second thing I did want to add is Friday is a pretty special day, and we've had some pretty powerful rains. This year has kind of been a pretty wet year, but kind of like I said before, it's not always really a powerful rain that does it. A lot of the issue can be dirty streets, and then just the fact that there's no gutters and there's, not gutters, but, curbs in a lot of those streets, and so there's a lot of material that winds up filling up in that drain. I would think, yeah, hopefully there is a cheaper alternative option that we can use to solve that without just blowing $100,000, but at the same time, without really improving the infrastructure in the area, you're gonna keep running into those issues where drains are getting clogged, and even just a long rain is gonna give you problems too, because that water is just getting filled up and then it'll come right back over the driveway again.
Well, and I remember when we were, with the whole streets project, there was discussion on curbs or not, and we were able to, of course, get more streets without, but curbs in, and that was kind of the decision the commission decided to go with.
Right.
Hindsight, was that the right one? I don't know. I mean, there's
Never know.
good and bad for everything, so.
But that was just more of a point of, even if it's one or two inlets, that is something to consider also, just all the trash and debris that's coming down, and if focusing in that one point is gonna continue to cause you problems, even if you do fix the drainage issue. I don't know if that's running the street sweeper more, I'm not home a lot, I guess, but I don't really see that going up and down that road, but when it rains, you see a whole bunch of that, a lot of dirt wash out from those ditches, but.
And it would help.
It's definitely kind of just a problem, kind of like he was saying, I mean, it's an area for a problem, it's not just my problem, it's just an area where it is.
And it would help too, if people would remember that they're not supposed to be blowing their leaves and their grass in the streets too. I mean, it may seem a minor thing, but that just builds up, and you see that all the time, and we're not supposed to do that. But. Well, like I said, I appreciate that you also have concern about people on down the
Well, I think-
runway.
Friday definitely kind of opened my eyes a little bit more, it's easy to see like, this is my problem, this is my problem, this is my problem, but clearly there's a citywide need for drainage infrastructure and a little bit of improvement just to help upkeep when we do have those torrential rainfalls, which kind of like we discussed before, you can't fix that stuff overnight. There's mistakes that have been made in the past and things that people thought they were good decisions, but the citizens of Hiawatha are definitely dealing with that. I mean, one guy's shop that just got absolutely flooded. I mean, that's not just gonna cost them time and money and everything to fix that, or, well, not just money to fix that, but it takes a lot of time to clean that stuff up, just like how I was having to clean that drain almost after every single rain until we had complained for almost a year, me and my neighbors, cleaning it. I mean, I got tired of cleaning it, I just started leaving because the city didn't want to come and clean the drain, but I just feel like there needs to be like a major overhaul of the way that system is kind of going. I just have no idea how that would be. And I'm sure it's,
You're talking one little section of the world is, the price we just got, and,
Yeah.
and that's something that, that we can continue to put together a plan, and we can show the citizens, this is what it's gonna cost if we did a total revamp of our sewer system, or drainage system, or whatever. And how are we gonna pay it? I mean, stay revenue neutral, you don't raise sewer rates, you don't have more money. And I'm not saying we don't need to do something, but we just have to,
figured out. That's
yeah,
what
we just have to figure it out.
I definitely agree with you. I'll say a lot of things and I'll obviously be upset sometimes, but I do get directly impacted like many people do, but I definitely understand what you guys are saying. Understand the gravity of the scale of the issue that is going on. So I do appreciate you guys continue to work on that and help come to a solution.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask, that we brainstorm and come up with maybe a plan B and maybe even a plan C of options that we can look at. And just not let it sit for 2 weeks. Again, we talked to Nick about maybe having another manhole where it could relieve itself. I think he said it was about 85 foot. So there's some options that we could possibly do to help swallow that as much water. And again, we're not going to be able to build it for what the storm was, 3-4 inches of rain in an hour, but we sure can limit it maybe so that it only does it once every 10 years instead of every year.
Any other comments?
What do you think about that? You think that's possible? I just don't wanna get in a situation where we're just piecemealing something constantly. I just feel like we need to fix it right.
We'll keep going away at it.
What?
Just watching.
Anything else? Okay, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to communications. Any questions? I don't know if. Don, do you have anything else we need to say? Anything else? You think? Okay. Moving on to department head updates. Chief, you're the first one.
Yeah, throw the new guy out there first.
That's all right.
Yeah, we did that.
Got in the stretch.
You got that right. I gave you guys a small page document in regards to updates. There's a lot of stuff that's small or big or whatever. Some of the things that are important are staffing. Right now, we're sitting at 8 folks. We have 2 vacancies. Mr. Button has entered delayed entry for the Navy. He's going to be signing on to the Navy on the 17th of September. He's going to be taking some time before that. So, speaking of Brad, he allowed us to move forward on an application that was already pending prior to my arrival and see if we can get that person hired and through training to take Montan's place. That way we won't have any loss of service. We certainly don't want to not be able to properly staff, and that certainly would be detrimental to everyone. In addition, I made a comment down there, Mr. Shoemaker is in a very prestigious course in Alabama for 5 weeks, which will definitely expand his abilities when it comes to forensics for computers, which will be really helpful when we talk about our investigations at that level. So that's really important. And that was he got invited to this federal school to do this. Doesn't happen for a lot of people, so we were pretty happy about that. Been looking at policies. There are several policies that are critical that we pulled up, and we found out that they're probably written for the West Coast or the East Coast, but certainly not written for the middle. And we're trying to make sure they're adaptable for the organization, for the needs of the community, and definitely within this region, as opposed to the things that happen in California. We spoke about the not unconventional or not conventional vehicle policy that we've been working with Andy on, and that's been very, very helpful. Making sure that we have our use of force reporting correctly done, and we're documenting everything that we're supposed to. It has to go to the federal government, the state, and also documenting our stuff locally, so that we can report back and tell exactly what we're doing. And then we have our oversight as it should be done correctly. Updated social media policy, updated our policy on when we're returning the reports, that way we can give people the documentation they need for their insurance purposes or for what is happening for their cases, much more quickly as opposed to the past. Even our unlock jump policy, we have a waiver that we ask folks to sign on as well, so we can do our things for them, but also to be able to protect the city from any claims, because these are things that we're doing that we certainly want to continue providing those services to the citizens, but we want to make sure we protect the city as well, as far as those things. We have some public outreach I've mentioned down there. We have National Night Out coming up in August. And we urge everybody to come to that if they can, bring their kids, that'd be fun. Code enforcement, that's been a work in progress, and we have the city broken up in 4 sectors with officers assigned to each group. And Sergeant Mendez being responsible for running saddle on that whole thing and keeping track of what's going on with this. We have a 3-step process. We call it 3 strikes you're out. So we give the persons the opportunity in our first contact to know what's going on and correct the issues and everything. And hopefully we can work with them and see if we can get them some sort of assistance that they can't do themselves. Maybe we've always talked about the different clubs in town as far as kids who need sports hours, things like that, citizenship hours. And if we get past that, then we get into the next phase, which is the formalized documentation that we have to do, much like it's been done forever by Chad. And then we get past that, and then we're probably going to be several weeks into this, get to the point where we're going to be issuing that notice to appear, and they have to explain to the court why it is that they've not done anything to correct the issues. So plenty of ample warning, plenty of documentation, and finally get to the point where we have to say, you got to do this. Or there's potentially going to be an abatement issue. And there's some properties, like drove around on the 4th of July and took a look, and there's clearly some issues out there in the community, which reduces quality of life for everybody, the property values of everybody. So we want to address those as much as possible. For personnel, we have a leaders meeting every 2 weeks. I bring my leaders in and we talk about issues, old business, new business. We talk about our plans. We make sure everybody understands exactly what everything that we're working on, and that way they can make sure everybody's aware of that, so there's no secrets. And I don't want anybody befuddled because they don't know what's going on. So that's something that we do every 2 weeks. And also we're updating staff on our July 1st legislation, which came out in years, a book about this big that talks about this every year. So making sure our folks have that data. We did our analysis on our PD budget at our halfway point, and we're right where we should be. We're pretty happy about that. We have some computer upgrades that we have to do because we have to be compliant with state. Windows 11 is the state requirement. We have to make sure that we're at that level. We're going to be looking at the Axon contract because our TASER contract expires next year. So we need to update that, but also if we can possibly get the body worn cameras that's produced by Axon, if we can possibly do that, and also an interview room, which is by Axon as well. Our interview room right now, kind of hit and miss. We can't afford not to have that evidence available for the court. So we're going to take a look at that. Finally, second to last, uniform update. We're dead smack in the middle of that. We're ordering stuff, making sure they can be properly attired and they look like police officers. And we're gonna make sure that happens. I told you that a long time ago that I was gonna do that. And we're pretty close to that. And also, we have pins that say expert on it, and we have not used them. We don't have a course, but now we do. So we're gonna see if we can improve the quality of our folks when it comes to their shooting abilities. The last thing is the fleet. We have 8 total, 7 operational, 1 out of service. We're done with that out of service one. We got to pay off on the insurance for that. We'll try to use that to roll back into repairs for other vehicles. And I'm also conducting a needs assessment for any vehicle, which is there a tape on the vehicle to see whether or not it actually has a need for it, and whether we have some historical needs for that. If we don't, and obviously it's something that I can't justify, we're not going to do that. So we're gonna work on that. Last thing, step grant, we put in for it, and it's been submitted. We'll most likely get approved for that. I don't see why we wouldn't. And then we'll obviously publish things out to folks like we have done, talking about seatbelts and speed and different projects we have to work on. And of course, with STEP, that's federally funded, or state funded, I should say. And that doesn't come out of our coffers, that comes out of the state coffers. So we can actually have those projects done and have paid for enhancing public safety when it comes to roadway use. Any questions from the commissioners?
I really appreciate your update. Appreciate everything you're doing for that department.
A lot of really good folks, really doing good work, and really impressed with their investigation, and we're taking it to the next level. I mean, Chief Mickey did a great job in preparing these guys. We're just, keep on working with it, making them the best they can be.
Are you gonna put anything else out about, our code enforcement is going to be a little different? Is there gonna be any
Sure.
information about that for?
This last thing that you read right here, we just talked about that last week to bring it up one more step and added some more stuff to it. The verbiage correct, but we're gonna publish this saying, hey, and we've already done this before, but we're gonna do it again. Hey, this is our process. This is Lorenzo's 3 strikes you're out. I love that title because it makes it very simple. We have a process we're gonna go through to get people through this, and even folks who before might have been in this process already, well, we're starting over. And give everybody the opportunity to get these things taken care of so they can improve the quality of life of all the residents around those particular houses, which have a whole lot of stuff going on. And I'm pretty sure that, if there's a desire to clean it up, it can be done. Maybe they do need some help, depending upon who they are. Maybe they just need to say, hey, I need to buckle down a little bit. I know the court is taking notice of it. I know Mr. Delaney's been taking notice of it. We have to do something about some of the places that are eventually eyesores, as best word, I guess it's been.
To me, it's a little frustrating when somebody will do just enough to kind of get off the radar, and then a few months later, they're right back to where they were.
Well, the best part about this is because we're getting to that NTA stage, the clerk can always take judicial notice of previous events, because it exists, it's a documented thing. So if we have that reoccurring thing, as you mentioned there, they could say, well, here it is documented, and within the court records, there was a recurring thing before. So we're still continuing the same thing, because that's gotta be very frustrating for the neighbors to have to look next door and say, here we go again. Yet another pile. So that's what we hope to help people get this taken care of.
Any other questions?
So for the abatement complaints, we call to City Hall now still, or to the police department? We have complaints from the community about this person's neighbor. My neighbor's got a junk vehicle out here. We've had it where you call City Hall.
I think, yes, they should still call City Hall on all complaints, so we can create a paper trail and get a corrective action plan in place
Okay.
to correct things. Right now, we seem to be getting.
So then you'll forward those complaints on to the police.
Correct,
Or to the, okay.
correct. Then we can come back when they say, we didn't do anything about it. Well, here's where we got the phone call. This is what we did on this day. So we're just able to track the problem.
Okay.
The one thing to add too, we are now taking the tactic that press releases, communication that needs to go out to the public, everything goes through Don's office. It's a much better, because that way we have a record of track of what it is we're telling the folks in the public, and there's documentation, because that way somebody can't say, well, I didn't know. Well, yeah, this day she published it in certain places or whatever. It seems to be a lot more productive than to
How did fireworks day go?
They did real good. We only had to issue one citation. And that was, and our folks went around. There was a certain amount of calls for service, but we had 14 other contacts where we contacted folks and gave them the rules and explained to them so that way they know what they can and cannot do. And that seemed to be very great because it was just educating a whole lot of folks that weren't even on the call sheets. One of those was told, hey, you can't shoot those. Those are outside the rules. So please don't do that. And then the young man or the officer drove short distance in the rearview mirror, boom, 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 boom. It's like, well, he just told you. So why did you do that? Plus, that was also observed by another police officer. So that was a bad choice, but only having to issue one citation. But I do know that at 9 o'clock, it sounded like Beirut. So there was a lot of folks that were getting upset.
I was aware of police cars driving around. I did see them out and about.
Yeah, I had 2 officers out and I was out on the 4th of July. There was a lot of compliance and there was a lot of communication, which I was really happy with my guys, stopping and just talking to folks and giving them kind of like the ideas of what they can and cannot do. And some people said, okay, I'll pack up and go to the lake, drive on, you know, have fun. It was a lot better in our opinion, because that way it wouldn't be so disruptive in the neighborhoods.
So this is the first year that we've done the sane and safe or safe and sane. Program. We're gonna try that for 1 year. So would you say that that went over well?
I think so, and I wrote a report on that, and I'm sure Brad would get that to you. So that I wrote an entire document on.
I didn't mean to hit you up with
Oh,
all
no.
that.
No, it's-
I added it,
Okay, it's lessons
and we
learned.
amended it, Jennifer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I wanted you guys to all know exactly what was done, what we performed, who we talked to, as General Allen's force, and what we were able to do. Also, we use this lesson learned that way next year months before we get to the day, we can actually look and say, what do we need to modify and how do we need to do this better? So that way we don't restart the wheel or recreate the wheel every year. That would be ridiculous. It's a waste of time. But we already know what works and what doesn't work, and then keep implementing forward. That's why I want to make sure we wrote that out. And we'll do that for any major event, parades or whatever, we'll do that to make sure we communicate that. That's the way we should do that.
I just wanted the public to be aware and those that are listening, how that program worked this year.
It went well. I think the only thing that came up was what exactly is the definition of safe and sane? There was some citizens that were asking that question. And luckily, you know, I had the markers as what it looks like, what we should be looking for. And a lot of folks were a little bit confused in regards exactly what does that mean? But we'll try to be a little bit more clear next year with your guidance and to make sure that folks are completely dialed in so that way they don't get, they don't have to get a citation.
Maybe potentially put out flyers to the fireworks stands. and
Sure.
that kind of thing, so.
Sure.
I mean, it's the first year we've done that, so I'm sure there was a lot of, okay, what's sane and what's safe? A lot of questions that the public can answer.
Yeah, we had a couple people shooting off bottle rockets at cars, and let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Because you're gonna make somebody have an accident, and then that's the only candle fights. Yeah. But, you know, it's all fun and games till somebody gets hit in the eye, and then.
Exactly.
Is that all?
Yes, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Patrick, you're next.
I don't have any formal documentation and I'm gonna not take so much time. Fireworks, they didn't respond to any calls in the city limits. And to get ahead of any calls at the city lake, I went ahead and sent crews out there at 10:30, both nights, the 3rd and 4th. And of course, everything was on fire, so saved a lot of guys from getting out of bed. Both fireworks stands were inspected by myself and Tristan. They were both in compliance. We went into agreement with James Thornan to apply for private grants private money instead of state or federal money to try and keep a building fire station at minimum instead of millions, so. June was a quiet month for us, I can't say so much for July, but here we go.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr. City Man Ryan Smith.
Basically the month of June, our water lines got hit, we fixed a bunch of mishaps. The big thing we have coming up now is the lead and copper. Me and Brad went to a class. And, starting 2027, we have to start moving lead and galvanized lines from our side and then try to get the homeowners to get their lines fixed. This year, we have, lead and copper sampling. I'll be doing 10 samples, I think in August. We'll send them into KHE, we'll get results back, and we'll hand them to the customers. I've got about 16 potentials that I can take, just whoever's home. I'd just like to get all the samples done at once and then get all the reports back. But with lead and copper, each year after 2027, we have to remove 10% of lead lines or galvanized lines on our side. So right now we have to do about 1,000 holes in the ground on our side or the customer side if we don't know their plumbing. So we sent out those 2 surveys. With those 2 surveys, we have to do 1,000 holes right now. Before next November is when KHE wants to know what everybody has. So we are gonna be busy doing that. Oh yeah, yep, so yeah, we might even send out another survey just to see if people can still help us. Cause they tell us what's inside their house, then we can mark it down, we don't have to go into their yard to suck out a little hole. We have our back trailer, which is great. It's definitely earned its share of money, so. But that's what we're gonna be busy with for the next couple of months, try to get ahead of everything.
Have the lagoons hold up out north with all that rain.
They're not holding up too well, they're at 12 foot right now, so. Well, hopefully the lagoon fans and not rain for a while will help, but yeah, I think the lagoons can go up to like 13.5, maybe 14 feet, so we're getting pretty solid up there.
You got the new computers out there, right?
No, I haven't got those yet. Oh, we're just waiting on the software company. So we switched from Brightspeed altogether calling us because we had a telephone line got chewed up through squirrels. It took a week and a half for them to fix it. So we're actually going with Starlink now. And then also we're using an internet company that Windwater told us to use. So we're gonna use that so that they'll actually use the internet to call us, which will be faster in response time. So, but yeah, I'm waiting back for them because you have to give them government ID and everything else, and they have to do a background check to make sure you're who you say you are, so. But once that gets done, they said the computers are almost done and they'll ship them and they're plugged and play. So once I give them the IP address, they'll send those and I just plug them in, they'll be working day 1, so. I appreciate it with the new computer system too. It'll be a good helpful.
Good. All right, thank you, Ryan.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thank you. Stace, Jasper, you have.
Okay, so I'm here to just kind of talk, July is National Parks and Recreation Month. And so it's a good time to stand here and advocate for how essential HPNR is for a little town. This year's slogan is the power of, and for us at Hiawatha Parks and Recreation, that means the power of parks, power of recreation, connection, nature, community, belonging, wellness, and the people who make these experiences possible. So one of our missions at HPNR is to serve the recreational needs of individuals and families and to enrich the quality of life for all residents of Hiawatha. In addition, we want to showcase what Hiawatha has to offer for any potential newcomers to our beautiful city of Naples. HPNR is committed to providing clean and safe park facilities, fun programs, and activities for all ages and incomes. Currently, HPNR is providing over 60 annual programs and events for our youth, adults, and seniors. Our goal is always to add to that number each year, focusing on fun, affordability, and variety. We also oversee numerous public spaces for our community to enjoy throughout the year, which include the Fisher Center, Skate Park, Walking Trail, Susie McElroy Aquatic Park, Learning Park and Playground, Star Park, Rescue Park, Noble Park, Kitty Corral, and the City Lake. So through our annual budget, donations, and fundraising efforts of the HPNR Advisory Board, we hope to continue to strengthen opportunities for our community to build those relationships and enjoy time together and focus on health. Our vision is clear: dream big, focus on the future, find ways to make it happen. So I've just kind of made a little list, a very simple draft of goals in no particular order for our department, focusing on creating spaces that are safe, well-maintained, compliant with current standards, and attractive enough that our community is proud to use them. Prior to tonight's meeting, Brad had asked me to kind of provide what our parks plan is. I know we've all seen big picture items, little picture items, but just in general, these are the things right now that I feel are very important to our department. And I'll just kind of run through those real quick. Ensure all play equipment and structures are safe and compliant with current safety standards. Identify and prioritize ADA improvements like accessibility, sidewalks, bathrooms. Improve lighting in spaces for safety and general usage. Replace aging playground equipment and add necessary components that focus on safety. Improve surfaces to reduce hazards. Upgrade athletic fields, grounds, fencing, and seating. Renovate existing shelters, features, equipment with cosmetically pleasing improvements. Enhance open areas with more shade and landscape. Continue to help our environment by planting trees, recycling, repurposing, etc. Upgrade signage to give an instant cosmetic boost. These are just a few goals that strike balance between protecting public safety, meeting industry standards, while also creating parks and facilities that our residents can and want to use. Our intention is to use these goals to provide clear, measurable benchmarks that can guide our budgeting and fundraising efforts as well. So in this fun budget season, I just wanted to kind of prepare a guideline or I guess a map of kind of what we're trying to pursue, and it will get a lot more elaborate the next time I present for sure. And then just to kind of wrap up what we've been doing this summer, I've provided lists there of all the kids and adults and seniors programs that we've offered, either solely through HPNR or assisted with. For instance, softball and baseball is not run through HPNR, but we do everything for it. So I included that on the list. T-ball, public and private swim lessons. The swim team is on its own, but obviously use our facility. We have mermaid and shark camp coming up, lifeguard camp, obstacles in the park, water fight night, and new this year is a triathlon that we're really excited about. And we've got several teams already signed up for that. So I know for sure it's happening. We have enough people that it's going to happen. For adults, we have co-ed softball, water aerobics, baby and me class that I currently teach on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. We host pickleball and also women's pickleball. For our seniors, we offer fit camp, water aerobics, senior social time, pickleball, and obviously invite them to participate in our triathlon as well. Our everyday play, of course, is at our pool. Man, it has been a summer of breaks, from pumps and motors and air conditioning units and just all of it. If it once worked, it currently does not. But we've gotten the majority of all of those things fixed. So it's just been it was a tough June for sure. We just installed the AC unit in the concession side of the pool house today. So that's fixed as well. So hopefully we're on the right path to less. Our walking trail, if any of you have been around, our neighborhood of the town, man, that walking trail is just utilized, every day, all day. The skate park, so many people, and Laura, I know that you're very passionate about the skate park. So many people don't think that place is utilized, but man, I was driving by like at 11 or midnight the other night, and there were people there, like truly utilizing for its purpose, not just like a hangout. So, our sand volleyball courts at the lake, fishing at the lake, and then just all of our playgrounds in town. Like I said, it's just very important for us to make sure that we keep all of those spaces safe and clean for our community, and hope that HPNR is always a reason that people stay or move to Hiawatha. Any questions?
You mentioned the skate park, and I do live right next door to the skate park, so I actually like to sit out on my deck and watch the variety of people. I mean, you've got everybody out on tricycles to their families, and they might be out there 10, 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
but, you know, have fun, that's
Yeah,
what the life
it's a
is
really
for,
great space.
enjoy it, but yeah, it does get used a lot, so I'm glad we have it.
I sure wish we could figure out something to do with those tennis courts. And I know that's not just the city, that's the school as well. It's just,
Don't forget kids, their disc golf.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes, gosh. Disc golf at the city lake has definitely been, a crowd favorite since we relocated.
Well, we definitely appreciate everything you and your team do.
Thank you,
It's a lot.
thank you.
I don't think people realize just how much Parks and Rec does for the community, so.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You bet.
Thank you.
Nick, do you have anything else to add to the streets?
I really just, outside of battling with Mother Nature, been up from the middle school, set up a couple guys, and these guys help when they can. And we just trying to work on that road and do some asphalt patches. I do some subgrade work today in a couple of areas. Just for the last couple of weeks, I'll be up there another week or so. You get bored? Full week. Very sweat. Other than that, business as usual.
And we're good, thanks, Nick.
Bruce?
I don't have a whole lot. Couple of the big things we did this month, is we went to, well, with our new sewer generators, we went to Morrill, Kansas, they had a plugged line. And they couldn't get it, so we used it was a good time to use a root cutter, because it wasn't on our line if it got stuck. No, it worked out, it worked out.
Want to take that back?
No. But, yeah, we brought the camera up there and we cameraed and everything, and like Nick said, we help each other out, we did extended sewer lines down behind Brad's house, there was a house there. There was a manhole in the middle of the alley, but at one point in time, the house wasn't there, so they abandoned the line, so we had to stick a line in the manhole and run it down so they could have, well, sewer. Some of the things that are going on, well, with all the rain and stuff, I've been at a couple houses for water in the basement. We just do the normal procedure, pop the manhole downstream, upstream, if the flow is good, we'll run a camera in there or jet, we got to. There's still 2 of them, I mean, there's nothing in the line or anything, but they're having problems, and I mean, I'm here to help, so I'm just gonna try to help them out and not forget about them. Other than that, with all the rain around town, there's still some manholes that have holes in them, so I like fixing manholes that have holes in it. Well, I mean, it ain't gonna stop all of it, but they'll stop some of it. Manholes buried under chip and seal, and I mean, I just got a lot. You make a plan, or I mean, you try to make a weekly plan, but like you come in and like, hey, you gotta go sewer jet over here, or the pumps broke down over here, so I mean, it's hard to make a weekly plan, but other than that, no. just keep on going.
So Bruce, I have a question for you though, because I mean, obviously right now, water in basements is kind of a big thing. I still remember when I moved in this town 20-some years ago, my realtor said 3/4 of houses in Hiawatha get water in the basement because of the high water table.
Yes.
So how do you determine what is the city's job and what is a homeowner's responsibility?
What,
As far as like when the water gets backed up into the basements and stuff?
we just just make sure the main is clear, that's our main goal is to make sure the main's clear. We got dye tablets we can put into their, toilet, they can flush it, and if you have a camera under there, you can see it drop, so you know that, like, they're not plugged, so there must be like something in the main or something. But, I mean,
And it's a hard thing, and it's not fun. I have built water in my basement.
but I mean, we do have clay tiles, so there is, clay tiles old. I mean, you get a crack in it, it'll infiltration, roots will come in, but that's not. So,
Didn't try to drain, fill up the lagoon out north.
Yes, yeah, didn't fill it up all the way, but I think 11.8 foot.
What's overflow on it?
That one time we had 13.8 and it probably had like a foot left, so. Yeah, still fighting that a little bit, but. Then, the next South Flank project, I think Olson's kind of getting that going. So, and that's the same thing as the North Flank, capture I&I. Any questions?
Just like to bring up that there's so many people in the community that have no idea what goes on behind the scenes to operate this city. And the work that you do, the work that the street department does, it's just unreal, and people have no idea.
I mean, I like to go around when it's raining and pop manholes to see like which ones have heavy flow, but I mean, I can do that all day. I like, cause it's like trying to like follow the path, but it's just, sometimes I feel like I'm not being productive and I'm popping, looking for that stuff, cause there's other stuff that can be done.
I just think each of you need to know how much you are appreciated. I mean, you're gonna get negativity, is gonna happen everywhere. And you can't take that to heart, because we know how hard you're all working for this community, so.
Well, one of the other big things I'd like to try, I mean, I've been hearing that on 10th and Morgan, that there's possibly a storm sewer or something hooked up to that, because we got one lift station that it'll, like after a 30-minute rain, it will, like, it'll get high level. So I'm trying to track it down, like follow from this lift station and follow it back to see. And we got a smoke tester, but I don't know what engineer firm it was. They smoke test, but I don't know if they didn't dig into it very much, or if they, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe they didn't catch it,
Catch
because
it,
they
so.
really did that smoke testing.
Yeah, so we got a smoke test machine, and I thought about, but like when I'm doing that, other stuff, so it's just weigh your priorities. So,
Well, next time you do that, the big rain, go and check route. Call me, because I'd like to run along.
All right.
That would be really interesting
All
to
right.
see what you have to deal with. I mean, I really would.
all right.
Bruce, is that lift station the one by 9th Street?
9th Street, no, it is, not Lefty's, it is Layton's. So that is right behind, what would that be, 10th Street? It'd be behind, like Toe's, tow yard, Scott Hurlinger's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So
I'll call you after this meeting.
okay. So other than that, any more questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Tom, Ernest?
I don't really take my notes, but I do. Well, that's a lot going on. Lisa has gone to her extra time. She's been scanning in all the old documents into the utility. accounts so that everything's at our fingertips. In her free time is creating a commission journal, so when you say, what meeting did we talk about the sewer? She's starting going backwards so that we can just look up the word sewer and find those and make it just easier. Jane, she's been feeling the calls from all the rain the last few weeks. It's in for 4 inches, but, and getting what we need submitted for insurance purposes for that. I continue to work on my return the website, adding all the ordinances. I've started adding the ordinances in. And keeping everything updated with the meetings, agendas, the minutes, all the things. I don't think it's gonna be coming to a standstill. When I logged in today, our website said it would be not working after 2027. So, I say that again. Yeah, so I haven't called them to clarify what they mean by that. So I don't know if they're changing products, whatever, but, I'll probably put my stuff on hold for a little bit, just till I get clarification on that, but today was favorable, so I must have been busy with that, and Bradley.
I'll say codification problem, or
The codification, recodification, there's just,
codification.
yep, they were supposed to send that to us last month, and I'll have to ask Brad if he's heard anything on that. He's been the one kind of handling that, but, I thought they told us they'd have it for us in June.
And that's what I was thinking, June and July, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything since then, but I will ask him about that. And, waiting on the auditors to give me a date. Everything tied up and ready to go, just waiting on them to schedule a date fix.
You see the auditor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
financial stuff. Any questions for me?
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Dawn.
Sorry, I wanna add one more thing. I neglected to tell you or also talk about, Hiawatha, as you probably know, was selected to host the Legion baseball tournament again this year. So, the post 66 Braves will be playing this week, starting on Thursday. They got the top seed, by the way. But I know, as far as my staff, we've been working very, very hard to get Noble, top notch, ready to host this state tournament. We hosted it last year and it was just amazing, obviously, for, the economy of Hiawatha and just, we obviously received so many, positive, compliments that we were able to host again. So we're really excited about that. I just want to kind of repeat some of the things that the Legion is maybe still looking for. They're looking for some volunteers to help run the book, game changer, concessions, ticket takers, stuff like that. So if anybody is interested in helping with that event this week, Kurt Weldon, Ryan Reiniger, Keith Early, or Gretchen Oldham are available to help organize that. So just wanted to add that.
And Gretchen sent out an email to the schools.
Good deal.
Andy, you get to be in to wrap it up.
Yeah, usually when I have something to say, I'll do it in an executive session or any questions. I don't have a report, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Also, I'm gonna ask for anything, I'll just get.
Please put you first, huh? Please put you first.
So that means I'm gonna tell Brad to keep you on the list, just moving on to governing body comments, I have a few. Number one, I know that, all you city folk probably are less than thrilled to have to be here, but I, really, really appreciate that you came. I mean, it used to be that we had to have you here at every meeting, and I by no means think that's necessary. But for you to come in and give reports, fairly regularly, I just really appreciate it. So thank you for taking time out in the summer to come and do this. So much appreciated. Couple of things I wanted to add to what some people have said. Stacy, I wanted to add a little bit more onto yours. Now I can find it because it keeps coming off my phone. You posted a really nice thing about since the ball season's over now, you posted about our umpires, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because you want to talk about a thankless job, being a high school kid, being an umpire, when some of our parents, or not even just our parents, but some adults don't always act like adults. So I'd like to point out that the umpires we had this year, Easton Sheldon, Brenner Lowe, Braylon Stephen Morgan, Kylie Nelson, Bryn Williams, Alexis Willick. Sorry, I don't want the picture, I need names, okay. Addison Williams, Michaela Williams, Connor Kettler, Jared Shoemaker, Braden Newell, Claire Twombly, Forrest Kreider, Kinsey Nelson, Alexander Hinton, Jackson Moore, Laura Lears, Tyson LeMay, Bernie Simpson, and Alan Gormley. I just remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be an umpire, and my dad said, "You absolutely will not do it." But he wouldn't let me do it. He thought I was too sensitive, so, which if only knew. But these kids come out and do that, and so I just wanted to add that to what you said. So thank you to them. I also wanted to comment that I was in City Hall office today, watching Jane and Dawn bash our heads on the desk once again, dealing with G-Works. And so I just want to make sure that as commissioners, we don't forget that we still need to be serious about software. And I know that we said we're going to put it off towards budget season, but we can't keep having this, and someday it's going to really step up and bite us if things aren't done correctly. So I would encourage you, if you haven't gone into Dawn's office, to have her flip over the whiteboard in there and shows all the different software options we have. And it's not just easy saying this is cheapest, there's so much more to it. So I just want to put out there that we're still looking at that. And the last thing, I mean, if you drive in, you can see all these banners that have been put up. And I know that Brown County had started it, but I think it definitely needs to be put out there. That is our city crews out there putting the brackets up, doing all the work, putting the banners up. They look fabulous. And it's easy to say, well, let's just do them all. And we have to sometimes pump the brakes just a little bit because once again, budget season is not always pleasant, but what's up there is great. And Brian and all the city guys who've been up there doing that work, fabulous. And the things that we can have doing with these brackets later on, I mean, I can see us by little Easter things or seniors in high school having banners put up there. I think there's all kinds of neat things. So, thank you for all of that. I think that's all I have. Got anything else? So then we'll move on to David.
I just want to repeat what's been said already, that I appreciate the city crews and all the hard work they put in, the dedication to their jobs, the loyalty to the city. It's a great asset to keep this place running, and you guys are the ones that make it happen. So I want to thank you all. Pass that on to your rest of your crews, please.
And I'd like to add the same thing. Thank you guys for all that you do.
Brian,
I have nothing.
Laura?
Huge, big ditto. Appreciate everything that the city crews do. I mean, you folks have pretty much covered everything, so thank you.
See, that's why you want to come more often, so we can tell you all this stuff. So, hey, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to know most of you.